California is one heck of a failed state, my friends, but Disney gets to bear the brunt. If Get Woke, Go Broke could be exemplified, I believe this is the best way it could be exemplified because this extends beyond just the company's bad decisions. It extends into their support for woke policies, which turns into law, which turns into their destruction. The news, my friends. California approves equal pay lawsuit against Disney. 9,000 women to sue for alleged compensation violations. Oh, I am so excited for this. The end result is going to be communism. The only way you actually get equal pay in this circumstance is going to be if everyone's given a flat rate, no matter what they do. Meaning, you could be Robert Downey Jr. and no, we can only pay you $100K. It's the law. Maybe. That's what they want. But I don't know that it would just stop at $100K. It could potentially be several $1 million. But I assure you, if they're going to pay a superstar, say, $50 million to appear in several films, like 3 films, they are not going to pay $50 million to lesser draws for the same amount of money or for the same role. Wait, no. They're not going to pay a major star $50 million. They're not going to pay a lesser star $50 million. And if they have to bring down the rates because they have to be normalized no matter what, they pay everybody less. That's my point. And that's what we're seeing right now in this story from Bounding Into Comics. They report, it seems as if the time for Disney to put their money where their mouth is regarding their progressive virtue signaling has finally arrived. As thanks to approval from the state of California, 9,000 women will be allowed to proceed with a class action lawsuit against them on the grounds the company knowingly paid them less than their male counterparts. Oh boy, I love it. The largest such legal action to ever go forward under the state's Equal Pay Act and covering employees from the company's Disneyland Disney Cruise Line film, TV, ABC, Marvel, Lucasfilm division. The lawsuit was allowed to move forward on December 8th after LA Judge Elihu M. Burrell rejected the House of Mouse's attempt to dismiss the case on the grounds that its claims were too broad. In making her failed argument to the court, Disney attorney Felicia Davis declared that such pay discrepancies existed due to the fact that 2 employees sharing a similar position did not necessarily mean that their actual workloads were substantially similar. Per Courthouse News, following Judge Burrell's decision, plaintiff attorney Loris Andrus told the media, quote, Disney has been gaslighting us for 4 years. And today they were proved wrong. This case is not about 9 individual plaintiffs. It's about all the women in California who work for Disney and who are fed up being paid less than their male counterparts and who are seeking fair treatment. That's all. Oh, I love it. The end result, of course, can only be communism. Obviously, when it comes to acting, we're hiring people based on draw. Robert Downey Jr. is the big star. He does a great job. Everybody loves him. I want you, Robert Downey Jr. in my movie. He says, well, I don't want to do your movie. I say, I'll give you $1 million. I don't need $1 million. I got a lot of bucks. I go, okay, how about 10 million? 10 million's okay, but I don't need it. Okay, 50 million. 50 million, really? Okay, I guess I'll do it. That's how it works. Then you go to Scarlett Johansson and say, Scarlett Johansson, I want you in my movie. And she says, I don't want to be in your movie. I say, I'll give you $1 million. She goes, well, $1 million is pretty good, but I believe Scarlett was the highest paid actress, last year or something like that. So you say, I'll give you 30 million. She goes, okay, I'll do 30 million. Guess what? They're different people, extremely unique individuals that do different things, will have a different amount of screen time, a different amount of films they're contracted to be involved in, and thus they get different rates. But by all means, you want to play this game where you got to pay them the exact same, everybody goes down. But I know this is not just about actors and actresses, but it's also about people who are doing, PA work or camera operating stuff, or you're a gopher and you're getting a coffee. Either way, the end result will be the same, communism. Because people have to negotiate for themselves what they want. The point I made about Robert Downey Jr. and Scarlett Johansson applies to the mailroom all the same. And now a lot of these companies are loving the law because they can go to, so here's what happens. Dude comes in for a job and says, yo, I want a job in the mailroom. I can handle your mail. And the company says, okay, we pay $15 an hour. And he goes, $15 an hour? That's too low. I'll tell you this, I can go to IBM and get $20 an hour. And they go, no, you can't, because the law doesn't allow it. You get $15 an hour. And the guy goes, wait, what? Well, okay, give me 16. No, we can't, because the law doesn't allow it. The guy rushes over to IBM and says, can I work in your mailroom for $20 an hour? And they go, no, 15. Well, you mean I can't negotiate anymore? No. But you know why? It's because women don't negotiate, so the law must solidify the wages for everyone at a single rate that no one can negotiate. And it's already happened this way. Communism. Now, it's not like overnight communism happens. I'm saying this is the path towards, where industry will all just say the government sets the wage. Have a nice day. How fun will that be? As detailed by the aforementioned Courthouse News, Andrus claims that female Disney employees not only received an average of 2% less in compensation than men in equivalent roles, but that their bonuses and other such incentives were distributed in a confusing and unfair fashion. Could it be that women were negotiating in different ways? Or their agents were bad? The suit's lead plaintiff, LaRonda Ramison, claimed to have earned varying amounts less, but at least $16,000 than the 6 other men who held her same managerial position. I think Disney's defense is going to break down, because here's what they're going to say. Oh, well, she should be paid less because blah, blah, blah. She should be paid less because blah, blah, blah. Because if you do that in front of a jury, you're dead. There's no way that's going to be acceptable to a California jury in 2024. And that's right. Absolutely. I suppose that's not really the argument they're going to make. The argument that Disney is going to make is they're going to say, LaRonda asked for this wage. And we said, okay. Well, then why did you pay the men more? Well, John asked for $50,000 and LaRonda asked for $45,000. Should we just give LaRonda a raise or penalize and give a pay cut to John? People are allowed to negotiate their own salaries. You get what you ask for. Why is it then that women make less? Because women are more agreeable. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Oh, man. Peter Pan, Christopher Steele, makes up a new rule about the Lost Boys in order to calm Tinkerbell down in Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep 2009. What is this? What do you mean? I never said girls can't be part of the gang. I love how they did, what is it? They did a new Peter Pan, but they added girls to the Lost Boys. And it's just like, oh, it is so cringe-inducing. And now I guess Doctor Who race swapped Isaac Newton. Come on. Dude, whatever. Adding to her thoughts during, a later interview with IndieWire, Andrus further asserted, these are important cases for reducing the wage gap and exposing discriminatory pay practices. We are honored to represent the brave women who have come forward to tell the stories of so many women who are treated like cheap labor. We are pleased the judge saw through Disney's tactics. Fairness is the goal. That is all. Sure. Pressed by for comment on Judge Burrow's ruling by various outlets, Disney simply provided a written statement stating, we are disappointed with the court's ruling as to the Equal Pay Act claims and are considering our options. As of writing, Davis is referring all inquiries regarding the case to Disney proper. Meanwhile, Andrew is reportedly working to file another but similar lawsuit against Disney for supposedly violating the California Fair Employment and Housing Act protections of a further 12,000 female employees. I absolutely love to see it. Politics is downstream from culture, ladies and gentlemen, and Disney built this culture up. Disney's the one who pushed the insane lies. Why? They thought they'd make money, probably. Some of the people who were pushing it are probably ideologically driven. And then it made its way through their own media productions into the law, where in California they say, yeah, we should make it law that men and women have to get paid the same. Well, the reality is people negotiate for different salaries, but they're taking that away. And as I mentioned earlier, I've already seen this. Working in the media industry, I've seen these companies where they say our policy is not to negotiate. I've actually encountered this and I just laugh. And I tell my friends, like, dude, if their policy is not to negotiate, you don't work there. Give them the garbage staff members they beg for and go work somewhere else. Now, I suppose sooner or later, more and more companies will adopt this practice and then y'all screwed. But that's why we got to win the culture war. I remember I had a friend, I give this lecture to everybody. I give this advice. You want to make more money? Here's what you do. You or actually, no. Let me ask you a question. I'll ask you a question. Where do you work? Okay, right. Next question. Let's say you get a call and it's a McDonald's on a phone and they say, we want you to work the register. Or better yet, they say, we want you to clean the bathrooms. We want you to take a full-time job cleaning our bathrooms at our location on the Lower East Side of Manhattan. And do you want to do it? What's your answer? What do you say to McDonald's when they offer you a job cleaning their toilets? Now, first, we'll keep things a little nuanced. If you're out of work and you're in desperate need of a job, you can say, okay, there's a minimum wage, I guess, but you can expect a certain rate based on market standards. But you know what's funny is that most people will say the wrong answer. And yet the wrong answer is no. No, the right answer is not yes. The right answer is how much. Now, for some people, it doesn't matter. And that's fair. But if you're trying to improve your position and make more money, the answer is how much? Let's say you get a phone call from a company that sucks and you don't like them. And they say, McDonald's, let's say, I don't know, you're a contractor or something. You're making $50 an hour doing whatever. I don't know what you're doing. And you get a phone call and it's McDonald's being like, how would you like to clean our bathrooms? You say, how much? $15 an hour. Not interested. Have a nice day. Click. Let's say they say $15 an hour. Say, I'll do it for $100 an hour. Well, they're probably not going to say yes to that, but hey, what if they do? Well, then you take a job getting paid $100 an hour to clean a bathroom. Unless you don't really want to. Some people really enjoy their jobs. Some people choose to make less money because their job is fun and it's something worth doing. That matters. But I always tell people this because I had a friend who said, he got offered a job at a media company and he was like, I don't really want the job, man. I appreciate the offer. And I was like, you don't want the job as a media company job? Like, what else are you doing? Like, I don't know, whatever. I'm living off savings. I'll go work somewhere else. And I was like, well, how much did they offer you? $60,000 a year. Okay. Well, would you do the job for 80? No. Would you do the job for 90? No. 100? No. What if they offered you 120,000 a year? Well, yeah, I'd do the job for 120,000 a year. Sure. And I said, that's your response. Now you email them and say, I appreciate the offer, but you have to double it. And he was like, yeah, but they're not going to say yes. I'm like, who cares? And you don't take a job you didn't want in the first place. And they're like, oh, fair point. So they emailed back and said, my minimum rate for a job like this would be 120. And they said, we can't afford it. Thank you for your time. End of story. There you go. There's your advice for the day. Now, the problem is you've got too many women who won't do that. And then what happens is they get hired and they complain about it later. And then you get law. And then you got to pay the bills. Have fun, Disney. You reap what you sow. Next segment's coming up tonight at 8 p.m. over at youtube.com/TimcastIRL. Thanks for hanging out. We'll see you all then.